So, hey Ali, welcome to this podcast episode with Buildify. And how are you doing?
I'm doing very well, Yash. Thank you so much for inviting us.
Awesome, awesome, great. So, firstly, would like to know more about Warden. Like, if you can give us like a short intro about it.
Yeah, cool. Warden has been Warden actually started off with this idea that we wanted to solve the problem of fragmentation that we see in the Web3 space. So what we started doing was to build a blockchain where people could basically deploy omni-chain applications. That is, it could be either wasm-based or EVM-based smart contracts. So to do this, like we had to reimagine the whole architecture of a chain, from the scratch, which could be only done when we had like complete control over the infrastructure. And the Cosmos SDK, Cosmos Stack give us that like full flexibility to do that. Then one of the other things that like Warden started looking at is the problem where how do you like sign transactions on like destination chains, and that's where we like started looking and enabling stuff like spaces and contracts and keychains and all those kind of things. And the most interesting part is like while we were like solving all of these problems, we actually ended up creating the whole infrastructure that would be needed to solve the AI slash like Web3 intersection problem that we like see today.
Got it, got it. Uh, Also, would love to know what was the idea behind starting Warden and how do you guys initially got started building?
Yeah, so that's again like going back to my like previous answer. Like we wanted to like solve this problem of fragmentation inside of Web3 space and wanted to like uh have a way for people to deploy the smart contract, but like not to worry about how do you interact with other smart contracts. So, for example, one thing that we did was you could deploy a smart contract on Ethereum, and then you could deploy something on Warden, and you could basically control your Ethereum smart contract through Warden. And I think that's like a very powerful thing that we started to enable, which I think has made us like AI ready now, which is like the most cool thing at the moment.
Yeah, got it, got it. Also, like I'm curious, like how are you guys actually integrating AI into the whole Warden protocol? Like, if you can share with us.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. So, um, yeah, going back to what I was earlier saying, we started like building this infrastructure. We spent like almost a year or more than a year actually, like perfecting this architecture, this framework, and all the core components. And this actually formed the basis of Warden Agent framework that now we have like put together, which is like available for developers to use. When AI started like getting momentum, people started to find ways how to like incorporate AI into like Web3, which meant that many protocols start like just loosely using the word AI without like having the real meaning to it.
Yeah.
And when we wanted to like step foot in AI, we wanted to like solve two problems. One was that we wanted to like bring true on-chain autonomous agents into like Web3. And the way Warden allows you to do that is it allows you to build agents where you can like define your entire logic through smart contracts, which makes it like fully on chain. So you can like have your whole business logic on smart contracts, making it like visible and on chain for everyone. And then the other thing is that we at the same time we also like have this like core infrastructure ready. So as I was like saying previously, we have like spaces and keychains and all these like fancy things,
Yeah.
which in turn means that now you can delegate the signing responsibility to agents directly and removing the intervention. So this like truly makes the agent like autonomous. And quickly, the other thing that we wanted to like solve was the problem of like inference verification. So this is one of the things like that AI comes inherent with, like how do you trust AI? Like how do I trust AI to make decisions for me for something very simple, like like doing a prediction on a test net? Yeah, fine, we can trust AI, but or like maybe to scan a PDF, yes, true, yeah, I can trust an AI. But if the AI is taking decision like in self-driving cars, or if the AI is taking decisions in an oncology department, like which medicine should we give to a cancer patient,
Yeah.
then we need like the AI to be very, very trustworthy. And for this, we have come up with something called as like AI Trust Score, where we use our home built softwares and like prediction models to give AI a score, which in turn tells you like how much confidence you can have in that AI. I think like, these are the two critical components of like AI, which Warden is trying to solve today.
Okay, great. That sounds very interesting actually. And like I also saw that Warden is building its own agent kit. So I'm also curious about that. Like what is the whole kit about and how does it functions? And also who can use the whole kit?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. So, the reason why we built Warden Agent Kit was to like give a powerful tool in the hand of developers. So, as I was saying, like we are trying to solve like these two problems. One is like we want to make the agent autonomous, and then we want also to have like AI inference verifications. Now, these two components by themselves are like really powerful, but then if we don't have a way for developers to actually use these things, I think that it has zero to no value. So Warden Agent Kit, simply put, is that tool that allows you to incorporate these features into your agent. A very basic definition would be it's a TypeScript tool that allows you to build an agent using TypeScript, which has integrations through LangChain. So imagine you want to like build an agent, and you start off with TypeScript. You use Word Engine Kit and you deploy a very simple agent. Now you have two choices. Either you go completely Web2, you use LangChain, use integration tools with LangChain and make it fully off-chain, or you say that no, I want to use like blockchain, I use smart contracts, and then you use Warden to make it like fully on-chain.
Okay.
So now you have got like two choices to make, or you have a third choice where you can say, I will make it hybrid because there are certain computations which I think should be off chain, or certain actions like posting on X, for example, has to be off chain. But then I want to, for example, uh, like buy ETH or like sell something or do something, some activity on chain. So I will keep all of these functionalities on chain, and you have backup of like the Warden infrastructure, which allows you to like sign transactions and like do all of those things. So now you have this very, very powerful tool which encompasses like all of these functionalities together.
Got it, got it. And also like can you highlight a few specific use cases which can be built with the agent kit?
Actually, before that, I forgot to answer the question where you asked me like, who is it meant for? So I think it is meant for developers, which is like an obvious thing. But I think what we are also trying to do is we are trying to make it for both Web2 and Web3 developers. So the agent by itself does not restrict you to, or does not like make a compulsion that you have to use Web3 capabilities. So even if you are just starting with Solidity, if you don't have like very good understanding of like smart contracts, you can still build your agent with Warden. And then as and when you keep learning about like different things in Web3, you can start incorporating smart contracts. Or it could be vice versa. If you're more advanced in like Web3 and you slowly want to gradually move into like Web2, then you could do that as well. Uh, as for like examples, I think pretty much anything under the sun can be built with Warden.
Yeah.
So since since you have this capability of like building with both off-chain and on-chain, I think there's a lot of room for flexibility. We have been giving our agent kit in like beta testing to like a handful of developers, and a good majority of them have ended up building something with DeFi. So I
Okay.
would say like DeFi is one of the like key use cases that we have today for agents. I have like two examples. Like one example which we built was an order example.
Okay.
And the way it works is we have a condition where let's say if the ETH price goes above like 2000, then the agent will go forward and swap say USDT for ETH. And this
Okay.
happens like on chain. So the transaction is signed on chain without the need of the user. We also like added some more functionality to it. Like for example, we have like price prediction model to it. So the agent can also like predict in the future which what is the price of ETH going to be. Of course,
Yep.
this is still in like beta testing, and we don't not a financial advice, but yeah, I
Yeah.
think like this will open up a lot of more flexibility and like things that you can do with the agents. The other example that I recently wrote was about an email agent. So I wanted to incorporate something more related to Web2. So this is a simple example where you would typically send an email from your work email place with a PDF or something attached to it with your invoice,
Yep.
and you would request money, and then the agent would look through the invoice, verify that the user is correct, and then it will just automatically send the money. So I think that's
Got.
also like a cool thing that we have like built. So again, these are like the examples, but you are limited by your own imagination.
Yeah, 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 definitely. Also, like you previously spoke about keychains and spaces. So, can you like just give us overview, like what are these two uh, offerings?
Yeah, I think we did mention this a couple of times, but I think we did not like expand on this. So spaces space is a concept that like Warden came up with, where the way you can imagine space is like a vault, and a vault with like either one owner or multiple owners. So if I'm the creator of the space, then I am by default the owner of the space, but then I can also give my space like co-share the space, and this space contains key, like either a single key pair or multiple keys for the user, and this keys are actually used to invoke omnichannel capabilities. Um, and keychains is like a keychain is like a custodian that generates and stores public private key pair and signs the transaction.
Okay.
So if we were to put it in an example, an agent, for example, that wants to an agent would create a space of its own. So the agent is now the owner of the space, and you can say, for example, that I want to share my key pair with this particular agent. So you share the key with the agent. You can also like put intents or like guardrails around this. So let's say that you give the agent the autonomy to sign transactions on your behalf, but then you put the guardrail that if it's like more than $1,000, they're not permitted. So, or if it's more than $1,000, you need to sign. Plus, I also need to sign it.
Yeah.
So you can put these like guardrails in place to make sure that
Got it.
the agent doesn't go rogue. But in a sense, like yeah, these are the capabilities of a space and a keychain.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Got it. Also, like I'm curious, like how can community of the enthusiasts and developers get involved with Warden? Like how can they start contributing to the Warden ecosystem initially?
I think the most easiest way for you to start looking into Warden would be through a docs page. So docs.wardenprotocol.org. That would be the place where you get started. Another thing that we have is you could we have a GitHub repo, which is like github.com/agent kit examples. You
Okay.
can go there. We have a list of like projects or list of ideas that you could pick up from and start building your own agent. The the plus side, the good side of this would be all the contributions that will be made through this like open source community site. You will be like heavily rewarded for this, like with airdrops once a minute goes live. It could be like win-win. You learn about something, plus you also get rewarded for that.
Rewarded. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Okay, got it. Also, like I'm curious about one more thing. Like currently, we see a lot of DAI or DefAI projects being built. Some of them don't have utility; they are just doing token launches and all. So, would love to know what are your thoughts on this whole agentic scenario going on right now, and what do you feel about it?
Yeah, I've been like always skeptical about this because I have been always skeptical about this even meme coins thing about like pump and dump things. I'm not a very big fan of it. honestly speaking, I don't fully understand the mechanism of it. Like, how do you pump and then, I mean, I understand the working of it, but then I don't understand like why people would put money in that. But
Yeah.
anyhow, I think most of these companies, what we see today, as I was saying earlier, just want to ride the wave of AI. They want to like somehow make themselves like AI compatible. And I think
Yeah.
this is not something new. Like even you see the rise of Web3 in 2017, 2018, or like 2019, when Web3 started like, getting all these boosts, you would see that companies would started just left, right, saying that we are blockchain compatible and we are this and that,
Mm.
without really having any meaning to it. And I think that's the same thing which is happening with agentic things even today. Most of these people are I dare say it, but like most of these companies today are just like Python scripts running in the nutshell, which are not like agents. They are more sort of like bots, I would say.
Yeah.
So maybe I think one way for us to distinguish would be like how these are like incorporated in your life, and do they really add like meaning to it. So
Correct.
if it's not, if it's like not something that is going to like last a long time, I think we should just like refrain from it somehow.
Yeah, got it, got it. Also, moving towards our last question for this session, what more future advancements can we get to see from Warden, like in terms of community, in terms of product tech, like anything?
Yeah, so we have a whole division of retail that's coming up with Warden. And I think those will be I think we still haven't announced them yet. So uh, I will like I have an urge to say about it, but I'll like, refrain from saying it. But
Okay.
we have like a host things of like retail coming up, which will basically allow or make like using and deploying agents very, very simple, and even for developers. So that's one. I can speak from tech side because that's like my division. So on tech side, we currently support TypeScript for Warden Agent Kit, but we are in the future planning to expand it to like Python, because we see that a lot of our developer base is, especially in the agentic space, is more Python native. So we will bring that as well. We also like trying to bring in support for other frameworks into Warden. So Eliza is like top of a list for that. But we in like coming few weeks and months we'll add like more frameworks to Warden.
Yeah, got it. It's always great to hear from you guys. Like we at Buildify are like personally following Warden very closely, and we are also like
Yeah.
in the process of planning a few hackathons and activities for Warden. We can definitely discuss that.
Mhm.
Also, thanks Ali for taking your time and coming onto this podcast and sharing more about Warden and what you guys are working on. So thanks a lot.
Yeah, always appreciated. Like this is awesome, and I love what you guys are doing. So happy to like do other sort of like partnerships as well.
Yeah.